Big Manny Studios presents an almost original production. Big Manny 3, Small Manny. Big Manny by Jaden Christ. Written and illustrated by Jaden Christ. Narrated by Jaden Christ. With special guest Alisa Zakharuk. It's late in the afternoon on the 11th of September 2075. Emmanuel Manny Heffely III is dead. Or he should be. His big corpse was being ripped apart by millions and millions of tiny creatures. Obama, still recovering from his fight, tries to run away from the carnage. He gets out his phone to call an old friend. Ring, ring. You're, gonna need to get over here. Big Manny just got a bit, Obama paused. Smaller. Walter White stood in a desert in New Mexico, outside the van he's living in, as his phone rings. He replies to his old friend in 2 words, as he always does. I'm coming. The 1 billion 1 foot tall small Mannies had all emerged from the shriveled corpse of King Manny. They crowded around the Hawaiian desert and discussed with each other what to do now. After a few minutes, the Mannies shouted in unison, "We are going to take over the whole world." Then they all run off in different directions to take over the whole world. The small Manny army ravage hundreds of countries, killing anyone in their way. They invade France and shout, "We hate France." They conquer China and salt the land so nothing can grow ever again. They yell, "We hate China." They crush Brazil and destroy the cities in anger, and they scream, "We hate Brazil." They annihilate Romania and kill hundreds of innocent people. They bellow, "We hate Romania." This makes a young brown-haired man very sad. One Manny was smarter than the rest, more ambitious, more evil. He called himself General Manny. General Manny convinced the other 999,999,999 small Mannies to elect him as their leader. Eventually, the SMA had taken over the entire world once again, and General Manny exclaimed, "I hate the whole world." During all of this, Obama and Walter have hidden in their backup secret base. It's hidden in a small British town called Slough, inside one of its old abandoned colleges. Obama looked at his friend and says explanatively, "The small Manny army is all over the world. We need to stop him before humans and everyone else go extinct. We're safe here in Slough because no one wants to come here." Walter grunts and replies pessimistically, "For now." Almost 2 years after Manny got small, a young, brown-haired man from Romania arrived at Slough. His hair and beard were long and matted. His clothes were ripped and stained. Clearly, he had a difficult time getting here. The man's name was Matei, and he hated the small Mannies for what they did to him. Matei walked slowly through the drab, grey, deserted town of Slough. He finally made it. Matei was worried he wouldn't be able to find the right building, but luckily one of them had a large wooden sign reading, "Obama's Secret Slough Base." And just in case someone missed that, there was also a giant red arrow pointing directly at the entrance so that everyone knows how to find Obama. The real deterrent was Slough itself. It's just so gross and vile and sad that not even the small Mannies want to go near it. But at this point, Matei had no other choice. He walks up to the door and knocks twice. Almost instantly, the door is flung open and Walter is stood in the doorway and says simply, "Get in." Matei doesn't react and replies,
"Okay."
The 2 men walked inside and down the long, well-decorated hallway until they reached a table with 2 chairs, one of which is a very fancy president's-only chair, and there was in fact a president sitting in it. Obama sat in his big, comfy, reddish-pink armchair nursing a glass of whiskey. Matei sits down slowly on the small wooden chair across from Obama and raises his eyebrow inquisitively. Walter puts his hands on the table and monotonely states, "He's here." Obama flashes Matei a wide smile, showing off his fake tooth. He takes another sip from his glass and says, Hey. Matei expected him to keep speaking, but he didn't. There was an awkward silence for a few seconds. Matei breathes in deeply and speaks his purpose.
Obama, I've spent the last 14 months walking from Romania to Slough because I want to kill General Manny and destroy the small Manny's army.
Obama looks at him blankly and replies, I know. Obama jumps up and runs across the room, continuing down the long hallway. Now, follow me. I have much to show you, Obama shouts down to them. So Matei and Walter follow him to the huge wooden double doors at the opposite end of the hallway. The trio enter through the heavy doors with a struggle, and they are met by a beautiful sight. Hundreds of identical scientists are sat working at desks, messing around with metal and wires. Where does Obama get all these people? Why do they all look the same? Who knows? Matei was very confused, and Obama noticed this. He tries to explain. This is the nerd room. In here, the nerds are building an army of super Joe Bidens. They will be made of the DNA from the late Joe Biden. They are our last hope. Matei seems to understand, but doesn't say anything. And Walter doesn't care. Obama looks Matei in the eyes and explains what he must do. I know a place where you can train while the super Joe Bidens are being built. You're going to Myanmar to meet a friend of mine. Matei looks annoyed because he spent so long trying to get to Slough, but he's too polite to complain, so he replies,
Sigh. Okay.
and he walks back down the long hallway to get to Myanmar in Asia. A year and a half later, Walter is walking through the winding corridors of the secret Slough base, and he arrives at a door with a piece of paper taped to the wall above it that says, Matei's room, do not enter. But it's an emergency, so Walter opens the door without knocking. We're ready, he says in an annoyed tone, as if he's been trying to explain something for a while. Matei has recently returned from his training over in Asia and was flexing his new muscles. He's very different now. He has become Giga Matei, practically perfect in every way, physically unstoppable, mentally impenetrable. Giga Matei's hair and beard is now short and smart to show off his sharp jawline. His whole body is covered in a grey-scale tint to represent something or other. Giga Matei is lifting weights in his room, staring at a wedding photo. He finally answers Walter.
Finally.
He stands up and leaves to meet with Obama. Giga Matei meets with the two older men outside the wooden double doors. He stands confidently with his shirt off to show off his muscles. Obama liked this a lot. The ex-president stopped staring at the Romanian and began to speak. Matei, we're finally ready to fight the small Mannies. But first you should see our army in the nerd room. Giga Matei nods, and he pushes the huge doors open effortlessly. The trio see a truly dazzling sight. Hundreds of thousands of identical scientists stood next to hundreds of thousands of identical robots. The scientists had built the Super Joe Bidens as requested, and they looked powerful. Tall, thick metal boxes with the American flag printed on the front, and just above that, it said, Super Joe Biden, in a simple robotic font. And then just above that was the half-organic clone, half-cybernetic shell of Joe Biden's head. The dead president stared unblinkingly into nothing, as they were just made for combat and not conversations. Obama looked across at them and yelled, all 1 million Super Joe Biden soldiers are complete. This means the small Manny war will come to an end this coming battle. A few minutes later, the whole crew is outside the secret base, waiting for their ride. Eventually, the official Obama RV arrives, driven by the iconic Robot Williams. The RV pulls up beside them, and Matty immediately jumps in through an open window. Obama turns to Walter and the Super Joes. Okay, everyone, get in the RV so we can get going to the long, deserted town of Hemel Hempstead. It's a 40-minute drive, so everyone get comfy. Everyone shuffles on the RV and takes their seats, barely fitting everyone inside. They begin their long drive to Hemel Hempstead. Halfway through their journey, Obama stands up at the front of the bus and speaks to his troops. We're almost to the battleground, everyone. I believe in all of you. They cheer in unison for victory. Eventually they see a group of dilapidated brick houses pop over the horizon. A small sign is attached to one of the buildings, and it says in faint letters, Hemel Hempstead, do not live here. The RV drives along the dirt road into the abandoned city. Robot Williams pulls over in the center of the town, right outside the famous M building. Each of the soldiers shuffle back out of the coach, followed by the two high-ranking colonels, Matei and Walter. Then General Obama walked out with a huge metal box. He stands in front of the soldiers and shouts, "We're finally here. I hope you're all as excited as I am." He activates the metal box he's holding, and it unfolds and reshapes itself into a slightly darker version of the Super Joe Biden. But now it reads Super Obama on the front. The back opens up and reveals a perfect outline of Obama's body, and he slides himself into the space as it closes up behind him. He moves his arms up and down, feeling more powerful than ever, and he continues to speak. Now, I have this cool suit, so I don't die immediately, since I am very old. Giga Matty pipes up from the crowd and yells the only thing he cares about in this moment.
I am ready for war. I need to kill all the Mannys.
Obama smiles at him warmly. He hadn't seen too much of Matty recently, but he'd always liked him. Matty worked hard, and Obama could appreciate that. But also, Obama enjoyed other parts about the young Romanian. Then, Super Obama noticed how long he'd been staring at Giga Matty, and remembers he's supposed to say something. Good, because the Battle of Hemel Hempstead is starting right now. Very soon after, the whole Obama is stood in a huge open field with Super Obama at the front. Directly across from him is the infamous General Manny, with nearly 1 billion small Mannys behind him. The two generals locked eyes. Obama, Manny, two mortal enemies. Everything ends here. To be continued. And that's Big Manny 3. The last video did better than the first, which is great, and I hope that this one does just as well. I'm not really sure what else to say here, but I hope you enjoyed this one, even a little, and I hope you're all excited for number 4. If you feel a little crazy, you could try like the video and or subscribe. The comment button is also a good option, so yeah, bye.